Anti-superhero series The Boys. The 4th season has premiered. This season is also boundary-pushing and extremely vulgar. At the end of the previous season, Homelander was killing people on the street with Ryan, but he quickly realized he had supporters. He didn't condemn this behavior. Instead, he received more support. Ryan also realized that strength is what matters, and Congresswoman Victoria Newman is closer to the presidency than ever before. On this day, she attended a campaign rally, and the boys were also present. They didn't know what they were thinking. Butcher, due to a tumor in his brain, only has a few months to live. Because of his previous lies, the boys intentionally ignored Butcher. Coupled with his son being taken by Homelander, Butcher is at a low point in his life. At this moment, Homelander brings Ryan to the rally. The boys are surprised to see him. Homelander's appearance was not part of the plan. The team warns Butcher not to confront him, but when Butcher sees his son, he chases after them, urging Ryan to stay away from Homelander, not to let him change his mind. Ryan is deeply influenced by Homelander. He has long seen him as a father figure. Just at that moment, Homelander approaches Ryan. He notices the tumor in Butcher's brain, and that he has only about 6 months to live. Ryan feels saddened, but ultimately chooses to leave with Homelander. Meanwhile, Frenchie and Kimiko sneak into Victoria Newman's room. They are caught by her daughter, Zoe. They intended to say a few words to send her away. Zoe is a superhuman. She extends several tentacles and attacks Kimiko in order to save Frenchie. Has her arm torn off by Zoe. Zoe's fighting capabilities are beyond imagination. Frenchie drags Zoe and they escape. Starlight warns them. There is a window at the south end of the corridor, but it's 8 floors high. Kimiko breaks through the window. Starlight immediately flies into the air to catch her. Kimiko, due to her previous injuries, her severed arm doesn't immediately regenerate. She can't grab Starlight's hand. She falls to the ground and becomes a pulp. Fortunately, Kimiko has regenerative abilities. Otherwise, she would have died. On the other side, Victoria Newman finds Hughie. Want to persuade him to return to his camp. Hughie takes advantage of her momentary distraction. He throws a specially formulated acid at Victoria Newman, but the corrosive liquid doesn't harm her. Butcher comes out and fires his gun, yet Victoria Newman remains unharmed. The boys' assassination attempt completely fails. The client for this operation is actually another senator from the presidential election, who conspired with Mallory. Did not expect. The strong acid that has been studied for several months has no practical use. On January 6th, Congress is set to certify the election results. They cannot allow a superhuman-like to become the President of the United States. At this moment, an old comrade named Najin finds Butcher, hoping he will abandon the boys and join his own camp. But Butcher has many issues on his side. Homelander is also not doing well. Due to his street killings, he faces accusations from all sides. What company has long since declined? The board had wanted to provide Super 7s, find new candidate, but the list of candidates is unsatisfactory. Female candidates, Deep finds them not attractive enough. Male candidates are either deranged individuals or dog-eating lunatics. Homelander and a group of henchmen, they are incapable of handling the company's crisis, but they need to find a solution to the problem. Homelander is on the candidate list, and found a sister sage whose superpower is high intelligence, so he seeks her assistance. This is also the first time Homelander changes his clothes. Sister Sage deserves to be the pinnacle of intelligence. Homelander is like a gorilla in front of her. From their conversation, it is evident Homelander is currently very confused. He has already achieved his previous desires, climbing to the pinnacle of power in Vought Corporation, yet he still feels unhappy, while humans still control this world. Homelander wants to change this reality. Sister Sage suggests, organize a superhuman army to massacre ordinary people. Does not change this situation. If you crush ordinary people, who will build monuments for you? The masses will self-destruct. You just have to egg them on a little bit, and then pounce on it. Be the savior of people.
Like Caesar.
Like Caesar.
On the other side, Butcher secretly meets with Victoria Newman, wanting to team up with her to take down Homelander. Butcher already knew about Godolphin University creating the evil virus. They know this virus cannot kill Homelander and Victoria Newman. In order to win the election, Homelander knows about her wrongdoings. So, like Butcher, she also wants to get rid of Homelander. Butcher also tells Victoria Newman, that the CIA and the boys have mobilized all their forces to take you down, so cooperating with me is the best choice. Victoria Newman agrees to Butcher's proposal, but also makes a demand that Butcher must steal the Red River intelligence collected by Hughie, as it contains incriminating evidence against Victoria Newman. Hughie is unaware that his friend plans to betray him, and argues with Starlight and others want to keep Butcher's position on the picket line. Shortly after, he receives a phone call, learning that his father has been hospitalized due to a stroke. Hughie stays busy until late at night, before rushing back to the headquarters from the hospital. Meanwhile, Butcher pretends to console him, and takes the flash drive containing the Red River intelligence. Butcher finds Mother's Milk to search for his runaway daughter. He sees Sister Sage discussing passionately with his ex-wife's husband. It turns out, Sister Sage is helping Homelander gather a group of his supporters, and plan to have the super trio kill 3 fans of Homelander. The fans are unaware of the danger. They are excited to see their idol.
I want you to take these bats and beat these gentlemen to death.
Everyone still thought he was joking, but Homelander insists, and the others can only comply. They bludgeon 3 fans to death with baseball bats. Outside, Mother's Milk sees Homelander, and feels puzzled. Isn't today the day for his murder trial? Mother's Milk immediately follows. At this moment, the courthouse is crowded with 2 opposing camps. One group supports Homelander, while the other supports Starlight. The court quickly announces Homelander's not guilty verdict. Sister Sage infiltrates the Starlight supporters' camp. She pretends to be unhappy with the verdict, and throws her drink at the Homelander supporters. This move became the trigger, and the 2 camps erupt into a conflict. When Starlight arrives to organize, her spokesperson has already been injured. Train, using his super speed, moves the bodies of the 3 fans to the scene of the riot. People planted by Sister Sage immediately shout, "Help! Starlight killed people." Sister Sage orchestrates this, completely tarnishing the reputation of the Starlight organization. Homelander is very pleased. He drinks his milk while enjoying the news reports. Suddenly, Ryan says, "I don't want Butcher to die." Meanwhile, Butcher, due to Compound V, experiences hallucinations in his brain. He repeatedly sees his deceased wife, and under her persuasion, he decides not to betray the boys. Meanwhile, Hughie, who is in the hospital, unexpectedly sees his mother. The most absurd thing is, Hughie's mother is actually working as a beautician at Vought. Hughie doesn't want to deal with his mother, but she reveals that she has been in contact with his father. His father even entrusted the medical decisions entirely to his wife. Hughie doesn't understand his father's actions, and angrily leaves. Shortly after, Butcher releases another piece of news, claiming that he doesn't have much time left to live. Mother's Milk doesn't sympathize with him. Instead, he tells Butcher to pack up and leave. On the other side, Vought is preparing for the debut of young Homelander, Ryan. However, the PR department's publicity story is like a low-quality bathroom read, so Sister Sage introduces her own plan. Ryan is an incredibly special superhuman. He hasn't received any drug injections. He is the first natural-born superhero. Sister Sage crafted a perfect script to have Ryan make a surprise appearance in the rescue operation. Homelander felt unhappy when he realized he had no role in it. Ashley was angry because Sister Sage took her job, but deep, oblivious to the situation, wanted to make a name for himself in the rescue operation.
You want to join a family-friendly PG save? While PETA still has you on their bestiality watch list?
This refers to Deep's involvement with the octopus, and the incident that almost got him banned from television. Sister Sage provoked Deep, saying that as a superhuman, he shouldn't be controlled by Ashley. Shortly after, everyone started rehearsing the rescue operation procedure.
Let her go.
Out of my way, kid.
It's gonna be okay.
Do you promise?
Did you see it? This is how stars are made. This is packaging. Ryan's admiration for the 7 shattered a bit. Were all those rescues just for show? Homelander comforted him, telling him not to worry, that it was all to help him adapt to real rescues in the future. Just then, Homelander overheard gossip from the crew members. They praised Ryan's youthful appearance on camera. Unlike Homelander, who had wrinkles as he entered middle age, it cost $9 million for post-production to remove his wrinkles. Those words pierced Homelander's heart. Deep followed Sister Sage guidance, and taught Ashley a lesson. Seeing the woman sulking made him feel relieved. On the other side, Mother's Milk began investigating Sister Sage's identity. He suspected that she orchestrated the commotion at the courthouse. Unfortunately, the 3 fans died from blunt force trauma, leaving no evidence of superpowers causing their deaths. Mother's Milk tapped into Sister Sage's phone and discovered that she booked a room at the Vought hotel, so they prepared to go there and gather information. Mother's Milk and the others had just arrived at the hotel. I only saw Butcher. At that moment, the hotel was hosting a gathering for the anti-Starlight organization. There were slogans and satirical posters everywhere. The place was filled with Homelander supporters. The leader of the group was Firecracker. The boys infiltrated the crowd, listening to her conspiracy theories. He accidentally noticed Firecracker's supporters split man leaving the venue. Frankie and Kimiko immediately followed them. Butcher also wanted to go, but Mother's Milk stopped him. Split man enters dressing room. Frankie opened the split person's phone from their locker and discovered that the split person was meeting someone at the hotel at 9 p.m. Meanwhile, Starlight and Hughie were monitoring a train. The other party is leading 2 nephews to brag, telling how he fought wits and courage with the bad guys. A-Train's brother suddenly appeared and exposed how his brother had never participated in any rescue operations. All those heroic deeds were just special effects. Even the villains were portrayed by stunt actors. A-Train didn't know how to explain it to his nephews and could only use his superpowers to leave. Starlight and Hughie lost their target and had to return to the office. Unexpectedly, A-Train was there. He had already noticed that the boys were tracking him. A-Train handed Hughie a USB drive. There is a surveillance video inside that could prove the deaths of the fanatics had nothing to do with the Starlight organization. Train's reason for helping, it's to thank Starlight for not rushing out just now and embarrass him in front of his family. Hughie used the footage. They successfully rescued the imprisoned Starlight fanatics. On the other side, well-rehearsed rescue plan. They were finally ready to showcase it to the public. Ryan followed the script step by step, but Homelander was unwilling to be a supporting character. He wants to stand up and steal the limelight.
Throw him hard. Throw him. Holy shit.
Ryan felt guilty for accidentally killing someone, but Homelander thought it was because he was upset about stealing the scene. Back at the hotel, Sister Sage found Firecracker and arranged to meet her in Deep Blue's room at 9 p.m. Their conversation was overheard by Mother's Milk and Butcher. On the other side, Kimiko saw a poster depicting child abuse, which reminded her of her tragic childhood experiences. She tried to calm herself down, but ended up getting into a physical altercation with a passerby. Frankie quickly restrained her. As night fell, Mother's Milk brought the team to Deep Blue's room, and the 3 of them covertly installed surveillance equipment in the neighboring room. There was no one in the target room. The next moment, Sister Sage, Firecracker, and the split person broke in. It turns out they deliberately lied about meeting at 9 p.m. to lure Mother's Milk and the other 2. Sister Sage told Firecracker and the split person that if they can kill them, they will earn Homelander's favor. As soon as they heard this, the 2 of them immediately took action. The split person used their special ability to continuously split into multiple clones. Mother's Milk and Frankie hid in a room nearby. But unexpectedly, there was a party going on, so they blended in with the crowd. Meanwhile, the split person barged in directly, and Kimiko and Firecracker followed by breaking through the wall, creating chaos in the entire scene. Due to the large number of split clones, Frankie and Mother's Milk quickly ran out of bullets, so they engaged in hand-to-hand combat with the split naked men. Just as Kimiko managed to free herself from Firecracker's grip, she was shot in the forehead by one of the split person's bullets. Fortunately, her regenerative abilities prevented her from dying. Firecracker immediately started a live stream, intending to spread some conspiracy theories, but she was knocked unconscious by Butcher. The other split clones saw their goddess injured and sought revenge. They subdued Butcher. Mother's Milk stopped worrying about the details and led the team to rescue the captured individuals. Butcher coordinated with Mother's Milk and shot through the split person's main body, killing the original and causing the clones to perish as well. Firecracker realized the situation was not favorable and quickly escaped. The boy's attitude towards Butcher finally improved. When he stepped up in a critical moment, Butcher took the opportunity to propose rejoining the team, but was rejected by Mother's Milk. Kimiko has been unhappy since returning from the hotel. She found information about the terrorists who kidnapped her in the past, igniting a flame of revenge within her. Homelander officially announces that Sister Sage and Firecracker are joining the Seven. And of course, he hasn't forgotten to reserve a spot for Ryan.
Smile right now.
Butcher becomes angry after seeing the news, and he and Neagle plan to find a way to drug Ryan and confine him in Grace's safe house to separate him from Homelander. Starlight decides to confront the influence she has as a superhero and leads the organization in resisting Vought Corporation. On that day, a fan brainwashed by Firecracker breaks into Starlight's home, claiming that they have a basement where children are kept to serve wealthy individuals. He pulls out a gun and demands the staff to hand over the children, but they are perplexed as there is no basement. Frankie subdues him. On the other hand, the higher-ups are also finding ways to suppress Vought. Secretary of Defense Robert A. Singer proposes amending the Superhero Accountability Act, banning superhumans from serving in the military, private police forces, and even holding government positions. His words are directed at Victoria Newman, and a non-violent war is about to begin. Meanwhile, Kimiko is preparing for her own war, as she plans to eliminate a branch of the terrorist organization Shining Light, in revenge for her traumatic childhood. Mother's Milk is unaware of Kimiko's plans, and is planning to turn A-Train into a double agent, placing them beside Homelander. At first, Starlight disagrees, but Firecracker on TV points out that Starlight rose to her position through nepotism, which infuriates her. So Starlight bursts into Firecracker's room and confronts her face to face, asking why she dislikes her so much. It turns out that Firecracker and Starlight were contestants in the same talent show, and both made it to the finals. However, Starlight spread a rumor that 13-year-old Firecracker only made it through connections, which caused Firecracker to hit rock bottom. Starlight apologizes for what happened back then, but Firecracker refuses to forgive her. She wants Starlight to experience the pain she went through during that time. On Butcher's side, he knows that his son likes playing games, so he creates a gaming account to get closer to Ryan through the game.
Oi, Ryan, better me than some dodgy incel walking Vought coin.
Ryan wanted to log off directly, but he can't resist Butcher's plea, so he reluctantly returns to the game and beats up his own father. Considering Butcher's request for a meeting, Ryan finally agreed. Ryan goes to the apartment where Butcher lives, completely unaware that his father is planning to drug him. The father and son play table football together, creating an atmosphere of trust, and Ryan opens up about feeling guilty for killing people. Butcher realizes that his son is kind-hearted and doesn't want to betray his trust. Therefore, he throws away the drugged cookies and abandons his plan to drug Ryan. However, Neagle is displeased with this decision, as he wanted to groom Ryan into a secret weapon against Homelander. He doesn't understand Butcher's actions. On the other side, the fake Black Noir, who has been playing a background role all along, suddenly approaches Ashley, seeking information about Black Noir to study his behavioral patterns. That's right, the current Black Noir is actually a performing arts student in disguise. While the two are having their conversation, Homelander instructs everyone to take their seats for a meeting. Sister Sage takes A-Train's seat, and Ashley is kicked out of the conference room because Sister Sage will be taking over her job. Ashley is furious and storms back to her office to vent.
Who wants their balls crushed?
Me?
Meanwhile, during the meeting, Sister Sage points out that someone has hacked into the crime analysis department and stolen surveillance footage, which was then delivered to Starlight or certain members of her team to help the enemy clear their names. Since Deep is in charge of that department, Sister Sage demands that he hand over a list of employees with access to the server room, effectively stripping Deep of his managerial authority over the crime analysis department. Deep confides in his octopus girlfriend, sharing his feelings.
You've been so distant lately, and we haven't been intimate in...
A-Train suddenly receives a text message from his brother. Brother invited him to meet at the playground, but when A-Train arrived at the meeting point, he saw Mother's Milk instead. He invited A-Train to join him. At the same time, Kimiko and Frenchie entered the Shining Light Division's headquarters, but Frenchie, due to excessive drug use, had an unstable mental state. Kimiko bravely fought the enemies. He was trapped in hallucinations. The crime scene transformed into an amusement park. At that moment, Frenchie suddenly heard the call of his lover, Colleen. He followed the sound to a room behind him, and saw the person he had previously killed. In fact, not long ago, Frenchie learned that Colin's family had died at his hands, which caused him immense guilt. That's also the reason for his excessive drug use. Kimiko was unaware of Frenchie's pain, and was engaged in intense fighting outside the room. Recognizing her opponent as a familiar face, she let the person go. On Sister Sage's side, she found a Vought employee who had spoken to Starlight. She wanted to know who had stolen the surveillance footage. The employee explained that she contacted the Starlight home, only to donate some clothes, and didn't know who took them. But Sister Sage said, "As long as you tell the truth, we won't hurt anyone." Homelander made a statement.
Yes, I swear. I swear on the life of my son.
Just as the employee was about to speak, Homelander shot him dead with his laser beam. Sister Sage was driven mad by his actions. On the other side, Mother's Milk learned from A-Train that Victoria Newman would meet Homelander at the ice rink. He immediately gathered everyone at the rink. After waiting for a long time, only Hughie came, because the others still don't show up. The two of them decided to act in advance. Hughie crawled into the ventilation duct to install a bug. Victoria Newman arrived early. He hurried his actions to avoid being caught. Just as Hughie was about to finish and leave, he heard the voices of Homelander and Sister Sage. They were luring Victoria Newman, saying they would take care of Secretary of Defense Robert A. Singe once the election was approved, helping Victoria Newman rise in position. Of course, she would have to disband the Supes Affairs Bureau and elevate the status of Superhumans. Victoria Newman thought they had too many ideas. Secretary of Defense Robert A. Singe is very united with the military. It's not easy to bring him down. During their conversation, a drop of sweat from Hughie fell onto Homelander's shoulder. Homelander immediately sensed someone eavesdropping. He fired his laser beam towards the ceiling. Homelander smells Hughie eavesdropping by his sweat. He prepared to chase after him and eliminate the witness. In a critical moment, Mother's Milk found the control panel and used the lights to disrupt Homelander's laser. He successfully saved Hughie's life, but Homelander chased him to the rooftop, only to find Hughie had already disappeared. A-Train saved Hughie, and after putting him down, he left. Homelander was furious because he couldn't catch him. When he returned home, he discovered that Ryan had gone to meet Butcher. He was on the verge of exploding. His biological son was always thinking about others. Homelander is distraught. He hated himself for becoming weak. Love, for Homelander, is a disease. Only by transcending humanity can one become powerful.
You need to go back to the start.
The above is the content of the first 3 episodes of The Boys. The show subverts the traditional image of superheroes, approaching them from a negative perspective, portraying superheroes as villains. This counter-current creative concept provides a lot of inspiration. If you like my channel, please subscribe to it.